I used to love Halloween. The costumes, the laughter, the little moments where you could feel the world letting its guard down for one night. But that changed 3 years ago. Now, every time I hear kids laughing outside on October 31st, my stomach knots. Because I know what it's like to see the mask and realize it isn't a mask at all. It was Halloween night, 2022. I lived alone then, small one-bedroom apartment on the second floor of a quiet complex outside Cincinnati. The area was mostly older tenants, so we didn't get many trick-or-treaters. It was raining that night. Light drizzle, enough to make the streets gleam orange in the reflection of jack-o'-lanterns. I made popcorn, put on a few horror movies, and decided to enjoy the quiet. Around 9:30 p.m., there was a knock at my door. Not a soft knock. 3 sharp taps, deliberate. When I looked through the peephole, all I saw was black. Someone had covered it. I froze. Then a voice, muffled, calm, almost cheerful, said, "Trick or treat." I didn't answer. After a few seconds, I heard the sound of something heavy sliding across my welcome mat. Then footsteps walking away. Slow, wet ones. When I finally opened the door, there was a plastic pumpkin bucket on the mat. Inside were 3 small candies and a folded piece of paper. On it, written in neat handwriting, were the words, "Nice apartment. I like your costume." But I wasn't wearing one. I tried to convince myself it was just a prank, maybe some teenagers. But around 11 p.m., my phone rang. The number was blocked. When I answered, there was no sound, just faint static. Then, a voice I didn't recognize, a man's voice, whispered, "You shouldn't leave your curtains open." I ran to the window. The curtains were slightly apart. Outside, through the rain, I could see the parking lot. Empty, except for one figure standing under the street lamp. He was wearing a plain gray hoodie with a white mask. He didn't move, didn't wave, just stood there, staring up at my window. I dropped the phone. When I looked again, he was gone. The next morning, I went to see my neighbor, Mr. Gordon, a retired security guard who lived down the hall. He was half-deaf and grumpy, but he had cameras installed in the hallway. When I asked if he'd seen anyone near my door the night before, he just shook his head. Then he said something that chilled me. "There was a guy here earlier," he muttered. "Asked which apartment was yours. Said he was your brother." I don't have a brother. A year passed. By Halloween 2023, I had moved across town. I didn't decorate. Didn't open my door for anyone. I wanted nothing to do with it. But at exactly 9:30 p.m., my phone rang. Blocked number. I froze, staring at it for a full minute before answering. Static, then that same calm voice. "New place looks nice." My heart stopped. I ran to the window. Nothing outside. Then I heard a soft knock on my door. When I looked through the peephole, there was no one there. But on the floor lay a plastic pumpkin bucket. Inside were 3 pieces of candy and another note. Still no costume? I called the police this time. They came, looked around, said it was probably a prank. But when one of the officers looked inside the bucket, his face went pale. He called his partner over, whispered something, and they both left to make a call. When I asked what was wrong, the officer hesitated before saying, "The fingerprints on this candy wrapper, they belong to someone who died last year. This year, I decided to leave town for Halloween. Booked a small cabin about an hour away. Turned off my phone, no internet, no distractions. But at 9:30 p.m., same time as always, there was a knock at the door. 3 taps. Slow. I froze. The air in the cabin felt wrong. Heavy, still. When I finally forced myself to look through the peephole, there was me, a man wearing my exact clothes, my jacket, my hat. But his face was blank white, like a smooth mask. He raised one hand and waved slowly, and in the other, he held a small plastic pumpkin bucket. I didn't open the door, but when I checked an hour later, it was sitting on the porch, and inside was a note written in my own handwriting. "Now you're wearing it. The police think it's a hoax. They've checked the handwriting. It matches mine. They've checked the calls, all for my number. But last week, my neighbor told me something that made my blood run cold. He said someone moved into my old apartment again. And on Halloween night, they got a knock on their door around 9:30 p.m. They said the man outside was wearing a white mask and a jacket that looked just like mine. Halloween night is supposed to be harmless fun. Candy, laughter, fake blood, and too much noise. But that year, something felt off from the start. Maybe it was a fog that rolled in early, or how quiet our neighborhood felt that evening. There were 4 of us, me, my girlfriend Leah, my best friend Ryan, and his cousin Jess. We were all in our 20s, way too old for trick-or-treating, but we wanted to go all out for one last Halloween before everyone moved away. Only problem, we were broke. So, we decided to check out a place called Graveside Thrift and Curiosities, a creepy little shop tucked behind the old rail yard. The bell above the door jingled when we entered. The air inside smelled like dust and candle wax. Rows of mannequins stood shoulder to shoulder, dressed in vintage Halloween costumes. Witches, soldiers, clowns, nurses, all faded with time. Behind the counter stood an old man, thin as a scarecrow, eyes pale and glassy. He spoke barely above a whisper. "Everything here has history," he said. "Try not to lose yourself in it." Leah laughed it off. "Creepy. I love it." Ryan found an old firefighter jacket. Real leather, slightly burned around sleeves. Jess picked a long white nurse's dress, still stained faintly at the hem. Leah chose a black lace-witch costume, surprisingly detailed, like something handmade decades ago. And me? I found a tattered 1950s Letterman jacket with the name Eddie stitched on the chest. It fit perfectly. We paid in cash, the old man wrapping each costume carefully in brown paper. As he handed me the bag, he said quietly, "Remember, costumes hold more than memories." We got ready at Ryan's house before heading to a Halloween bonfire just outside town. As soon as I put the jacket on, I felt a weird chill, like static electricity under my skin. But I shrugged it off. Jess joked that she smelled something metallic in her dress. "Probably old blood," she said. Leah's witch costume had a tear on the sleeve she didn't remember seeing before. And Ryan, lighting a cigarette, muttered, "This jacket's still warm. That's freaky." By 10 p.m., we were at the bonfire with 20 others. Music blasting, beer cans everywhere, laughter echoing in the dark. It felt like a normal Halloween night, until the wind shifted. Around midnight, Leah started shivering. "Babe, I feel weird," she whispered. Her voice sounded different, lower, older. Ryan stumbled, clutching his chest. "It's like smoke in my lungs," he gasped. He dropped to his knees, coughing so hard his lips went pale. Jess screamed. Her reflection in her phone camera didn't look like her anymore. Her face had changed, subtly at first, then unmistakably. Her eyes darkened, her skin paled, and blood began to trickle from a scar across her throat that hadn't been there before. Everyone thought it was a prank, until Ryan's jacket burst into small flames near the cuffs. He screamed in pain, trying to tear it off, but it clung to him like it was part of his skin. Leah backed away, her voice no longer hers. It was deeper, trembling, terrified. "Please, not again," she whispered, eyes wide in horror. She didn't sound like Leah. She sounded like someone else. The music stopped. Everyone just watched in shock. Ryan's jacket, blackened and smoking, started to change color, reforming itself. The burned patches reshaped into firefighter gear. His skin blistered, his voice turning hoarse. "Get them out! Get them out!" he shouted, as if trapped in some invisible fire. Jess dropped to the ground, convulsing. When she stood, her expression was blank, emotionless. She looked around the field and said, in a calm, cold voice, "The hospital burned down that night. No one came for us." Leah started crying uncontrollably, clutching her chest. Her costume's fabric moved, literally moved, like something beneath the lace was breathing. And then she looked at me, her eyes no longer green, but solid black. "You shouldn't have opened the box," she said softly. "What box?" I asked, terrified. She smiled, but it wasn't her smile. The one they buried us in. I ran. I didn't look back. But I heard them behind me. Leah's laughter, Jess's slow footsteps, Ryan's coughs echoing in the distance. When I reached my car, I tore the jacket off, but my hands were shaking too badly to start the engine. That's when I saw something glint on the passenger seat. It was a folded piece of paper. Old, yellowed, like it had been there for decades. On it were 4 newspaper clippings. 1978. Local firefighter dies, saving family in warehouse blaze. 1982. Nurse found dead in hospital explosion. Identified only by uniform remains. 1975. Teen found murdered in woods. Last seen wearing Letterman jacket with Eddie stitched on chest. 1979. Witchcraft murder. Woman burned at stake during a cult trial reenactment. All names crossed out, but in red ink for new names written beneath. Mine, Leah's, Ryan's, Jess's. By the time the police arrived at the field, there was no one there but me. They said the fire from bonfire spread. 3 people missing, assumed dead. They asked about the costumes. I told them everything. They checked the store. Graveside thrift and curiosities was gone. Just an empty lot with weeds and a cracked foundation. A few weeks later, I got a call from a block number. A man's voice, old, raspy, familiar, said, "Every Halloween, someone puts the costumes back on. That's how they stay alive." Then he hung up. I haven't dressed up for Halloween since. But last night, I found something in my closet. Folded neatly, waiting. The Letterman jacket. Clean, pressed, and stitched inside the collar, new words appeared. "It's your turn again, Eddie.